What's up, guys? Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here with the podcast. We're talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger War Eagle. It's been a busy day in SEC sports. The SEC has actually laid out some protocols, general protocols to teams as to how they should do the social distancing as far as the pandemic to keep players and fans and all those other people safe. We're going to do that. We're going to get into that a little bit more a little bit later on. Also, there's been a lot of question on my channel where people are asking me, well, who do you think has the most difficult schedule? Now, I'm going to say I would prematurely just throw out a video on that, but I'm not going to do that because there are a lot of factors involved. I think all the teams have a tough schedule, but you got to look at the roster quality. You got to look at, the proximity as to where teams are placed on the schedule before you make a video that says, who has the toughest schedule. Now, I know who has the toughest schedule from the outside looking in. That's Arkansas, because they're the least talented team in the SEC, in my opinion. And they're replacing the coach. They're in such disarray. That team might go 0-10 this year. So that's the easy part. But we got another video where we're going to dissect and deep dive into who really has the most difficult schedule when you look at what they have to face from week in and week out. Say, for instance, if you got a schedule where you got to play LSU one week, then Georgia the next, then Alabama the next, that's a pretty tough schedule no matter how your roster is laid out. Let me get a big War Eagle from all the Auburn fans out there. Leave some comments in the comment section. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger War Eagle. We're going to talk about some of the most important players of the 2020 season. The first guy on this particular list that I want to mention is out of Mobile, Alabama, Williamson High School, and that's Roger Mcreary. I think he's one of the most important players on this particular defense for the Tigers. You know why? Everything else is intact. I think Auburn probably will have one of the best front sevens in the SEC. When you talk about KJ Britt, Owen Papo, then you talk about the defensive line with Tyrone Truesdale and all those other big jokers in the front, I think that part is good to go. But where things get real tricky for Auburn is that cornerback position. The safety is kind of all right with Smoke Monday back there. I think those guys will be okay. But when you really start to look at the cornerback position, that's where things get real testy for the Auburn Tigers. One thing I like about Roger Mcreary, he had a lot of quality playing time last year. Kind of started the first play where I realized that Roger Mcreary was the truth was when he came up on CJ Verdell in that Oregon game and he squared up with him. I'm talking about really, really squared up with him, made some really nice plays in that particular football game, continued his show. He had 30 tackles last year and 1 interception. Let me tell you guys, the most important interception of the season was when he made that interception in the LSU game, pretty much helping Auburn to remain in that particular football game. A little bit more offensive production. I think Auburn beats LSU. I think with a little bit more offensive production, a little bit more consistency in the offensive line play, Auburn beats LSU. Because the defense really played stellar in that football game. You look at the stats and you see, well, Auburn gave up 500 yards. But that was probably 500 of the most hardest earned yards in Joe Burrow's year as a Heisman Trophy winner. I said prior to that video prior to that game that Joe Burrow, you got to condense down what he's going to get his. Just like Michael Jordan, just like Kobe Bryant, just like LeBron James. They're going to get their points. But the difference is, how do you make them earn those points? Joe Burrow was averaging about 12 yards per play. In that particular football game, Auburn only gave him about, I think, 6 or 7 yards per play. And when you think about how that thing condenses down, that's a huge difference. And that's why that score differential was the way it was. Look out, guys. Roger Mcreary is going to play a key part into what Auburn is able to accomplish on defense, especially in the secondary, especially the way teams that Auburn is going to play like to throw the football. Alabama, now they like to throw the football. Georgia has George Pickens and a couple of 5-star quarterbacks that they'll be able to choose from. They're going to want to throw the ball a little bit. Also, Roger Mcreary is very good on the boundary. He likes to tackle. So this is going to be a very key point. I want you all guys to pay real close attention. I'm assuming that Roger Mcreary will keep the number 23. I want you guys to look out for number 23, Roger Mcreary, out of South Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, Williamson High School. He was actually only a low-end 3-star recruit at 0.85%. He was only recruited by, well, he was actually only offered by 3 Power 5 schools, as Duke, North Carolina State, and Auburn. Actually committed to Auburn, which lets you know that, hey, all 3 stars are not created equal. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. If you have any ideas on any topics that you want to talk about, I will be glad to do the research and really shoot that video out to you. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.